What's going on, guys? Back here again with another edition of Shad Talk.
Howdy.
I'm Nate.
I'm Tony. What's up, gang? As normal.
Can't forget, if you missed the last episode, this episode is officially sponsored and brought to you by Jokes on Us.
So, yeah, a good buddy of mine, JC Hampshire, he was in our last episode. If you didn't get to check that out, please go do that. What's really cool is I've known JC since the second grade. And he loves our podcast as well as we love his clothing brand. And again, it's like one of those things where, we grow together, which we'll touch on later. But as we grow together, we kind of put businesses together at the same time so that we can grow our own products. JC came to us about sponsoring the podcast. I actually wore one of his great shirts today. We touched on it last episode.
Yeah, so basically, we got a sponsorship with the boy, Jokes on Us. Look out for special discount codes to make sure to listen to episodes. We'll keep you posted. But now we're going to get into the episode, so we're going to cut the bullshit. And this one's definitely going to be a more serious tone one. Usually, we're ha-ha, he funny, all that good stuff.
You're not that funny, but...
the thing we want to talk about today is growth. And the stuff that we want to be able to touch on today is, giving people a chance to grow. We're going to talk about, sometimes when people are canceled out. And then, we're going to end with, why, basically why, like, we got to give people a chance to grow, and just kind of simple ways that you can at least start to be able to give people those chances. So
we've talked a lot about what's going on in our world, and in the podcast in itself, we've really touched on, how coronavirus has affected a lot of people, from the physicality of literally not being able to work, from being able to work from home now, all the physical side of things. But one thing that we really never touched on that I think we could have a while ago, but at the same time, it's a good time to do it now. It's a good time, better time to do it than any other time, is right now with the bigger picture. Why I think this topic is pretty cool and kind of important is music has been an inspiration to a lot of people. I think you would agree with me on that statement, is music kind of creates the world in more of a, you hear things that are very almost hidden message. Mm-hmm. There's a little hidden message to what's being said. And why I like the idea of the bigger picture is actually by the song Lil Baby that came out with the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. That song spoke to me a lot about what's going on in this society and the bigger picture. And it says in the song, it is bigger than black and white. There's a problem with the whole way of life. It won't change overnight. But we got to start right here. So that's why this topic, kind of resonated with both of us, and how we can kind of, grow. So, Nate, how do you, with growth, like, what do you consider growth? And that's very broad. So,
growth is basically just giving anybody the chance. It's just giving anybody a chance, really. That's the best way to put it, Because where we run into a lot of times, where we don't give people a chance to grow, is obviously we always want to look at. We're always so quick to look at somebody's past and see how somebody used to be, because that's kind of that can kind of mold them into who they are today. But then, ourselves, we're always like, somebody brings up our past, we're always like, that's the old me. If you knew me then, you don't know the me now. And it's like, that's kind of a double standard. It's like, you can't tell people not to judge you off your past because you've grown. But then if you're not giving somebody an opportunity to do the same, then, you're just contradicting yourself at that point. So ultimately, in order, to me, growth is just giving somebody a chance to be able to learn, gain knowledge, gain experience. Because I think where people forget is, stuff that happened, you know, a couple years, like 5 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, you know, we always forget how the way of life was always kind of different. You know, more things were accepted, you know, like 5, 10 years ago than they are now. And it's like, we're so quick when we go look at somebody's past to kind of, you know, we kind of disregard some of those factors just so we can just pass judgment on them and be like, oh no, I can't, you know, that person's the way they are because this is how they were. But then we're still, like I said, but then we're still preaching, oh, you can't judge me off my past. You know, so basically just growth is just gotta give somebody a chance. You know.
So what do you think people need to be given a chance on specifically?
Kind of like I said, you just gotta give people a chance to grow, like with wisdom, life experiences, because we all go through different things. You know, like I've had friends before, you know, depending on the communities where they might have grown up themselves, you know, they might not be able to relate to a community where like me or like Anthony has grown up, you know. So it's like if it's like I said, you know, like 10 years ago, it's like they don't understand, but now they're in a new environment, and if they're at least making the effort to try and understand, if somebody's willing to learn, you know, like to be able to understand you, then we have to be able to, like I said, give them that chance.
Right.
Know? Instead of, you know, like, let me ask you this, you know, what are your thoughts on when people are sitting there, you know, like we're always so quick to maybe cancel somebody out than to be able to give them that opportunity when they want to be able to understand or just be able to learn, you know, something new. How do you think, like, when people are so quick to cancel, how do you think that like hinders the process?
Let's start by why they got canceled. In today's society, obviously, there's a lot of people that have been called out about their views, whether that's political, racial, whatever the case. And that's where the understanding kind of comes in is, yeah, we want to know and we want to be able to work with, you know, if we want to educate people, we need to understand where they kind of stand with a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. I grew up, for example, in a family that is very, they're very loving, they're very understanding. What they really don't understand is really, I mean, we were cultured growing up as far as, you know, I'm Croatian and I live a very cultured lifestyle. I'm going to call it the American version because I don't speak the language. I don't do any of that shit. I have friends that do, and I'm not one to, you know, I've never learned the language. But I grew up learning, for example, that there were certain people in certain ethnicities that they were like, no, like we don't mess with them. We don't associate with them. And I'm talking about people in Europe. Mm. And at the same time, I was like, oh yeah, because that's the way I was raised. Mm. You start to learn and grow up as you, you know, you become your own. I went off to college for 4 years and experienced an entirely different, you know, environment, because all of us kind of came together in one place with different families, different style of life, different work ethics, all that kind of stuff. And you learn, and it's crazy, you know, the amount of good friends I've made, and it doesn't matter kind of background. They could be, you know, from a completely different country. I had great friends that are foreign exchange students. I had amazing friends that came from, you know, many different cultures. Maybe they came from the inner city of Philadelphia, or they came from the rich societies of wherever. You know, they came from Hershey, or they came from wherever. People that had money. I grew up with people that were broke. The problem is people just need to understand everybody's different. So yes, when we cancel people, that's usually because it's a hate. There's a lot of hate that kind of comes behind canceling somebody. No, and there's a lot of different circumstances where it's not a bad thing to do it. Like, there are some really, really shitty people that are very much too centered in tunnel vision. And what I consider tunnel vision is they've only seen one thing, and they've never been able to see outside of that bridge or outside of that tunnel. And most of those people I honestly consider racist. It's really shitty because there's a lot of people that are like that. And what cancel culture, for an example like that, there should be no hate to anybody's race. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like, you and I have grown up together for the last 10 years together. went through high school, went through college, and your parents love me equally as my parents love you.
Right. And
just because the color of our skin's different, that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, stuff like that, just basic stuff like, you know, like you just said, like something like racism, just basic, like just human life priorities. It's like somebody's unwilling to accept that. It's like, yeah, you know, you can kind of X them, especially if you try to, like we said, try to educate them and let them learn. You know, if they just completely neglect that, and they, like Anthony said, they want to keep that tunnel vision, then it's like, yo, there's nothing I can do for you. You know, like I'm sorry, you know, Godspeed, do you, but we can't bang with you. You gotta get canceled out. But then there are also times, like I said, or like you said, the different environments, like where you come from, like at your home, is completely different than the environment that you were up in Bloomsburg. And so it's like, instead of people trying to learn and understand, they're just that's not the way I grew up. You know, I didn't come from there. So they're so quick just to jump the gun without even trying to say, hey, you know, he came from a small community. Okay, now I might kind of see why, you know, why he might act like this, why he might think like this. And then that's also gives us the opportunity too, instead of just canceling them out, that gives us a chance, like I said, educate them to make them a better person. Like, you're not only just like, you know, maybe patting yourself on the back for helping turn somebody's ideas around, but you're also just helping that person in the world in general, because like we talked about with JC last episode, you never know that chain reaction of where somebody could get the ball rolling to be able to make something happen, to be able to make a change.
Absolutely. And change is needed in this kind of world we live in right now. We've experienced a lot of change. One of those changes, and we've mentioned it, is that growth aspect in acceptance. There is, I think, a real problem. Obviously, we don't have to talk about all the problems that have been going on in this world. 2020 has been probably one of the most terrible years in history.
And me, here's the thing. I'm gonna actually flip that idea. You know me, I like to keep things positive. Instead of, because I see that a lot. A lot of people look at 2020 as oh man, this year sucks. This is such a bad year.
I could have gone to Canada for free, dog.
But no, seriously though. But honestly, like, people need to. This could be an eye-open. This could be looked at more as an eye-opening year, like for you to be able to check yourself. You know, because there's been you know, we all been at home for God knows how. Like, we probably pushing on like 5 months now. Probably about to come up on 6. And what have we all done? We all just been stuck in our homes, where, you know, depending on what type of person you are out in the world, when you come home at night, that person that's in that house, that's who you are. You know, and a lot of people have been showing who they are. We've seen people that are kind-hearted, like my brother up in Seattle. He just posted on his Facebook about his community group for his neighborhood. Some elderly lady, you know, because like COVID, she couldn't go out. What they do, they were putting baskets together for her to make sure she's good. They would go pick up groceries for her. So it's like, you see those kind-hearted people come out, you know, but then also, unfortunately, we're getting those people where you're looking at them and it's like, whoa, I didn't, you know, I really didn't know you thought this way, or you really believe this, or, you know, you got like this nasty attitude or something. And it's just so mind-blowing, because it's like that, you know, like the mask like they put on like out there in the world, you know, now that has to be taken off, because you can't be out in the world as much. You've been stuck inside.
Yeah.
You know, so like, this is a chance to not say, man, this year sucks, but a chance to really self-reflect and check yourself, like, be able to look in the mirror and say, like, am I who I say I am? Am I a good person? Do I want a better environment for not only me, but my friends, my family, and not just cherry picking left and right? You know, you want to do it for everybody. You know, now it's like the perfect time to be able to say, damn, like, this is where I might slack. This is where I've been doing well. You know, just to be able to kind of find that balance, to be able to balance yourself out, but also be able to balance out other people around you in your circle.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a great point. 2020 is as negative as I may have came off with that, just because there were a lot of things that I could have done this year, for example. A lot of people could have done it. Ain't just about me. But you make a very solid point that 2020 is a year of growth. We're literally talking about it. It's written on this damn paper.
Even such, like, you know, again, I'll spend on anything positive. You know, it's like you say, oh, I might have been able to do this or that. I might have been able to not travel to this place or, you know, go to this place again. Like that just gives you a chance. You know, now you got more family time. You know, a lot of us, we're so quick to, we want to go out. We, you know, we like come in or see our family. Hey, how you doing? And then that's it. That's like the last time you see them until you wake up in the morning when you leave the house again. You know, so this gives us the time to be able to build up those stronger relationships and even be able to check on those that aren't far, you know, that are far away from you. You know, like if you were getting ready to go see that friend in Texas and, you know, it's like, damn, my flight got canceled, you know, it's like, that gives you an opportunity though to be able, you know, we got FaceTime, we got Zoom, we got every outlet in the world to be able to still connect with that person. It's just up to you if you were able to take advantage of that opportunity, you know, instead of just sitting pouting around, damn, I couldn't do this. It's like, well, you had this available. Did you do that? You know?
Now, why do you think people are so not, like I just jumped out and said 2020 sucked? Why do you truly think people were so quick to that conclusion?
Just because, you know, what typically usually happens at, you know, the end of every year, you know, we hit that month of December and then everybody starts talking about new year, new me, you know, as if going from the end of, going from the last day in December to that first day in January is going to make you a completely different person when that's ultimately, or, you know, like your entire life's just going to be completely different when ultimately that's not how it works. You know, who you were at 11:59 when that clock strikes 12, you know, you're the same person unless you're able to do something yourself to be able to better your situation, to be able to just grow as a person, you know. And a lot of people, like I said, you know, they had big plans this year and they kind of got altered. They kind of went off the rocks, you know, off the path. But, you know, again, that's why I say this is like an awakening year where people got to realize, yo, like you got to be able to have like 2020 vision. You know, if you see your path starts turning and winding, you know, it's not always going to be straight. You got to be able to learn to adjust and adapt to your situation again, where you're able to say, yo, this is where I was able to better, you know, everything in my life, you know. And you got to be able to realize, you know, when you embrace that grind, when you embrace like how we talked about, you know, last episode, being able just to learn a little bit more and just be able to love a little bit better. That way you can start living your life, you know. Then the world, once you put that into the world, then the world's going to be able to get that back to you. And once the world gives that energy back to you, then I'll be able to reflect, you know, how good of a person you actually became when the clock strikes 12 and it's now 2020. Or now when we come up on 2021, it's like, will you be able to say, damn, am I truly a better person from what I really was, you know, 2020 when I said new year, new me? Is it really a new me? You learn something new every day, you know, and I know I can probably tell what you're getting ready to touch on, you know, just like, you know, you learn something new about life. You learn something new about people every day because like you were just saying, everybody's different.
Yeah, no, there's a whole lot of differences. And, you know, it's funny. I had a conversation with my mom the other day in relation to good. My mom and I were sitting and, you know, she asked me a general question of, how do you read the Bible? And I know it's a little off topic, but the Bible itself, and I'm not going to get all Jesus on you guys, going to Catholic school for 4 years, and growing up in the Catholic faith, I learned obviously how to read the Bible just from a black and white perspective. There's obviously the Old and the New Testament, and there's stories that are all within these stories. And the middle part is when Jesus was born.
Right.
So I use this as an example of, you know, there's obviously different stories and different understandings like we're just talking about. So there's 4 gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They all write about the same thing, but isn't it all different? Isn't it all processed differently in their minds of what they depicted?
Mm-hmm.
So we bring that back to understanding because something happens in the world, for example, a pandemic, an election, many other things that are going on right now. How do we process exactly in our minds what's good and what's evil and how to understand where your morals lie? Because that's a big thing on it too, is, you know, we all are human. yes, we all have true morals to our human nature. And we have to understand that people are all different. We've touched on it way too much on that kind of stuff. But
I kind of like that example too, you know, about like the four gospels again. Because you know, just to even like elaborate more, you know, there are always, like you said, people that are different. So since everybody's different, that's gonna come with everybody's gonna have a different perspective as well. You know, like there's four of us in this room right now. You know, we got you know, Monte, you know, we got Neil in here, shout out both. And it's like, you know, we could all be looking at the same picture. You can put the same a picture right in between all four of us. We could all be looking at it and we'll all have different viewpoints, different perspectives of it. But the key for us to be able to all get along and just be able to, you know, just actually be good people is just be able to understand, you know, where our perspectives are coming from and be able to help each other. You know, like if Neil's looking at something and it might look like a straight line to him, but it looks like a diagonal line to me, I can say, hey, Neil, come here. Let me educate you on why it looks like this. And then bring it back around. Neil can say, yo, this is why I view it like this. That's when you're able to, you know, get your viewpoints in line and be able to say, oh, okay, now we come to that understanding, you know, which a lot of people miss that point. You know, they don't give them that opportunity. You know, it always wants to be, hey man, come here, look at it from what I'm seeing, my viewpoint. You know, this is right, you know, and that's not fair to that other person because everything you're saying, they could see that in a completely different light. And, you know, that light could be able to brighten up the dark spots that have been there in your life. And it's like, oh shit, you know, I gave this person this opportunity to educate me. And I even gave myself a chance to understand them. And now, wow, now we both see the world a little bit brighter. Wow, now we're both living life just a little bit better. And again, that energy, if I'm giving that out, if I'm giving Mate, Neil, you know, you, Anthony, that same chance just to be able to, you know, understand, then it's like the four of us, we walk out here, it's like, damn, now we all got a little bit, you know, brighter perspective. And that light can keep shining until we can spread it around to everybody, you know.
Every day is another day to get better at understanding.
Yeah.
That is a key to life. The one thing that I live to do personally is I want to learn something new every day, whether that's something minor, whether that's something major. And that's something, you know, as we're talking about growth and we talked a little bit about cancel culture. We talked a little bit about how to understand.
Yeah.
The first thing people need to understand is how to be a good person. You want people to learn how to be good. I touched on it a little bit earlier on we're human. We all fuck up and make mistakes. There's a lot of people in this world that think those fuck ups are what make you who you are, and that's not the case. If you mess up something or you do something wrong or you offend somebody, or it could be a lot of different things. You don't do something that's right. We are human beings. We do good things. We do bad things. It's what you do with each decision that you've just created or made. How do you learn from those decisions? How do you learn from those actions? How do you create a better opportunity for another person to grow from what you learned from? And that's part of education, is just that role model mentality as well, is you want to be a role model for people, because it's not you have to go out and impress anybody. There's no reason to do it. It's just being a good person. Being a good person is defined by just, we've talked about it, understanding, acceptance, and knowing that you and I are completely different people. It doesn't matter about the color of our skin or anything really. We have a lot of similar mentalities. That's why we are friends. That's why I'm friends with everybody behind the camera. But we're all also genuinely good people. There's a reason why being a good person makes you last longer in this world, because you want other good people to grow with you. You want growth to happen, because there's a lot of evil that happened in this world, and there's still a lot of evil that goes on. So bringing it back to morality is we need to just continue growing together. We touched on this in the season opener with JC of, in a business perspective, growing together, because that's how we elevate and network and grow. Where now we're focusing more on humanity. As human beings, again, we are not perfect. We make a lot of mistakes. We do a lot of big things in life as well that can either hinder or raise us. They can make or break. And every day you have an opportunity again to shine and do better and continue to make your mark on this world. And it doesn't even have to be a mark on the entire world. There's 6 billion people that can do that.
You honestly, all you really gotta do is just make a mark on, just like I said, man, just one person each and every day. Just kind of like how you live life. You know, like we said, you gotta be able to, you know, just be a good person, man. Like, and what's crazy is like when it comes to growth is you have that chance to be a good person every day of your life. Even when you have your mess ups, your slip ups, you know, if you slip up today, you got another chance tomorrow to be able to, you know, like erase what happened yesterday, because, you know, you just gotta let the, you know, like how we always say to people, like I said in the beginning, you know, we always want the past to be the past, you know, but we can't always live in the past. We gotta be able to just learn to live and grow. So, you know, if you slip up yesterday, you do something bad yesterday, you know, think about it, man. Sleep on it, on how you can be able to understand why you slipped up. You know, be able to understand why you didn't give somebody else that chance to grow. You know, sleep on that. That way, when you wake up the next day, it gives you the opportunity to be a good person. When you start becoming a good person, man, you can learn something. We said, learn something new every day. You got another chance to understand something new every day. You know, you got a chance to grow, understand, be a good person, all combination, any day of the week. Any day of the week, at any time you want to, man. Like, you can, you know, a lot of people will say, let me start tomorrow. You know, why not start now? You start now, you can start planting the seeds that can grow into tomorrow. That, you know, you look at plants. You plant the seed, you let the roots get grounded, then it starts to sprout, then it starts to grow. That could be the same with your life. When you start to plant those seeds of understanding of how to be a good person, that you can learn and grow each and every day. As long as you keep taking those steps, giving people those chances, giving out those good vibes, good energy, then you can grow into what you want to be, which can all, you know, we should all strive, you know, like you said, have that role model mentality. To, you know, you ain't gotta be a role model, but the best role model you can be is a good person, because we all can do it. So
I think in the context of me saying role model, to make it a little more clear, is you're a role model to everybody that's in your life, in a sense. You're a role model to myself. I'm a role model to you in the aspect of you want to understand why I think the way I do. I think human nature, that's what we do, is we try to understand people. We try to understand people when it comes to family, relationships. That's including in love, your friends, your coworkers, anybody. You are truly a role model to every person that you come in contact with, whether it's one time or every day, because you have that ability right then and there to show them good qualities and being a good human and understanding, as well as educating in a sense if it's something they need to be educated on. You know, if you see something in the street, for example, we see an altercation or we see brutality, we see anything, for lack of a better term, like we've seen things that happen in the world recently, and all it takes is good people to stand up and start saying things aren't right. This isn't okay.
And that's why each and every day, man, like you said, you know, just be a good person. Be a good person. And then each and every day you keep building those blocks up. Then that growth, once that growth keeps happening, then you're able to show somebody else and be able to help somebody else to be able to do it once you give them that chance, because you were able to understand yourself, because you tried it, you did it, you gave that energy out. So now that you understand, you're able to elevate everybody else.
We, you know, again, you guys have given us a lot of great feedback on the podcast and how we've operated and how things have gone. An episode like this is really to show you that we see it. Everybody sees it at this point. Everybody should see at this point what's going on in this world, which brings me to my final shed thought. I took this one this week because, well, we switch every other week, but little hint to you. But I touched on it earlier in the bigger picture. How I grew up, you know, in a small town mentality. I've experienced a lot of growth personally in society, in how people, you know, we talked on understanding, and we need to take time to understand people's cultures, how they operate as just humans, environment, their upbringing. What I'm trying to get at is that I was kind of a little more judgmental growing up, and it may have been because of what I was surrounded by. And I was one of those people that needed to educate myself. My final shed thought is to let the past be the past. We need to become better people. So why I think from, you know, giving people that chance to change starts now. There's a lot of people out there that need to hear this message. There's a lot of people that need to continue hearing messages of why be so hateful? What's so bad about being able to breathe and do something today? Nothing. So you let the past be the past and grow and understand in people and accept what's good for humanity, because there's truly too many people that are willing to point fingers but forget 3 fingers point right back at them. So as soon as you stop doing that and saying it's this fault, it's this fault, it's this fault, look at yourself and tell me what you did today to better somebody. Tell me what you did today to grow.
That's what we got for y'all today, episode 2 of season 2. Ooh, y'all like that if y'all watching on YouTube, the little finger flip right there for you.
You ain't even slick.
So, you know what I mean? That's what we got, you know. So we're going to give it, you know, a special shout out again. You know, we mentioned Neil, Monte out in the crowd. Appreciate y'all, you know, helping us out. And then
I got this one.
Yeah.
I got a special shout out too. My cousin Nikki, behind the camera, who spent a lot of time with us, helping us grow and helping us do this podcast. We truly appreciate you and how much we've worked together. What I'm really excited for is what you're about to go do in London. There's a lot of opportunity out there for you.
Shout out the pond. Shout
out going over the pond and doing your thing. And I appreciate what you've done again for us and continuing to help us.
Yes, sir.
And don't forget to go listen to Fred Flintstone. I will say that's probably the best song I've ever heard you produce. So
again, shout out Mate. Follow him, IG at Croatian Bull. Shout out our guy behind the camera, Neil at Neil DM dos. You can follow him on the IG. Sir, where can they find you?
Y'all know where to find me.
Do they though? If they knew where to find you, then they will follow you.
Ooh, that's why I got more following than you do. Nah. Fact check me on that one. But
hold that for later. Say that for next episode.
Nah, so you guys obviously know where to find me. I'm at Tony Shed Talk on Twitter, Instagram. You can find us on Shed Talk Podcast that now has a Facebook, because we're not that old, but it's great to have. So
yeah, you're a boomer. Y'all can follow me at N_Monroe26 on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram, Nate Monroe45. And listen, I'm just gonna plug this too. If you're a PC gamer, you play Valorant, hit me up. Nate NAPE #6162. Hit me up on Valorant. Let's squad up. So we like you, we love you, you love us for sure. We kind of like y'all. Depends on the day. But
I like you guys.
Nobody like you, so until
yeah, they do.
We shut again.